So here's the deck that I ended up building out of that pile. I had my Godless Shrine, of course, which I was very happy about paying for the draft, and actually being in my colors, you can't go wrong with that. The rest of my lands were swamps and plains. I had a Coat with Venom up there, which is totally not a creature. I don't know why I have it up there. But you see I have a lot of 2-drops, quite a number of 2-drops. Almost looks like an Origins deck, except a lot of my 2-drops, Tide Drinker, Underworld Coinsmith, Brain Maggot, are not your typical Origins aggressive 2-drops. They're much more grindy, kind of board affecting 2-drops. Down in the 2-drop spell slot, I have that Orzhov Charm, which was very helpful to me, as well as the Executioner Swing, which I actually didn't really play that much, and took me, I think, until my last match to realize just how bad it was that I did have to get dealt a lot of damage to actually have it playable. No 3-drop spells in the 4-drop spot. We've got my 1000 Lashes, which was super, super handy, an Eye Blight Massacre, and the Raider Spoils. Up in the 3-drop creature slot, we just have some decent creatures along with the Grim Guardian, whose Constellation trigger was pretty handy, along with the Extort on the Tithe Drinkers. 100-handed one, of course, was quite balmy. Abzan Sky Captain, Vulturous Haven, Silumgar Butcher, Silent Artisan had to be played, unfortunately, but it did what it needed to do. It held the ground while I got through in the sky, or otherwise controlled the game. Sphere of Safety was pretty handy. I actually didn't put it in until I think match 2 or match 3. It should have been in right from the get-go because it was pretty handy because I had, I think, 6 or 7 different enchantments and or enchantment creatures. So this, when it was in play, was almost always on for at least 2, if not 3, sometimes 4. And of course I have a Seraph of the Masses up there as the top of my curve, which hopefully was big and often was pretty big. So enough of that. How did I actually do? Well, it was a 10-person pod, which means it was going to be a 4-round event. Match 1, I was up against Step, who was playing a red-white deck. Game 1, I had to mull to 6. He flooded the board with creatures. I extorted a whole lot and kind of kept myself in the game. Eye Blight Massacre even came down and significantly deflooded the board, but ultimately he just got me with a large number of creatures. Game 2, I cleared the board very early, and he just could not come back from that, and I managed to win that game pretty handily. Game 3, unfortunately, was not in my favor. I flooded heavily, drawing and playing 12 of my 17 lands. I drew very little in that entire game that was not a land, so lost that match pretty handily. Step's deck was pretty darn solid. Red-white, of course, as I was saying from the start of this video, is something you really want to go for in a Chaos draft because it's good across all the sets usually. Match 2, I was up against Ivan. He was playing green-white. These were a couple of quick matches. I saw very few creatures on his side. The first game, in fact, I think he only managed to play 1. He unfortunately had a lot of spells and just was not drawing the creatures. My Extort plus Constellation on Grim Guardian ended games pretty darn fast in that matchup. There was just nothing he could do. And the Extort plus the Grim Guardian Constellation, plus just getting in for 2 or 3 damage a turn was more than enough to finish that up. Match 3 was against Steve. He was playing red-blue. He was very upset because he showed me his deck because he was in the winner's bracket. He was 2-0, so he assumed that me being 1-1 would not face him. But he got the pair down with me, and I knew his deck, which actually didn't help that much. Knowing a deck, I don't really find all that big of an advantage, to be honest. You know, you're going to see the cards anyways, so outside of Constructed, where maybe somebody has a super secret brand new deck, I don't really find knowing the deck to be that big of a deal. But both games, Sphere of Safety came down for me on turn 5 and locked the game up pretty seriously. It was on for 2, 3, one time it was even on for 4. It allowed me to very, very, very easily get in through the sky with Stalwart Haven, Crowan Skyguard, Vulturous Haven, and just finish up those games pretty fast. I won that match in 2 as well. The final match of the night was against Alex, who was playing black-white, just like me. His was a little bit more creature-based, mid-rangey-based, as opposed to being extort-based, as mine was. The first match was really grindy. It went quite a while. We were matching creature for creature, but I had extorted a lot throughout the game, which gave me a pretty big life advantage and him a pretty low life disadvantage. And then I followed that up with a 1000 Lashes, which, you know, despite not being able to attack, just pinged away every turn and finished that game out. Game 2 was much different. I got a really early Eye Blight Massacre to wipe a really flooded board on his side, and that allowed me to just easily take over. So I ended up going 3-1 with this deck. I got 3rd place out of a pod of 10. I would have been second if I didn't lose in the first round and lost in the last round instead. But third place out of 10, pretty darn solid in a Chaos draft. This is the second Chaos draft I've done at the Gamers Emporium. The first, I actually 4-0'd with, I believe, a black-white deck as well. So perhaps as long as Return to Ravnica block is in the set, black-white's the way to go because of Extort. Once we run out of those packs, it'll be very interesting to see what happens maybe when Oath of the Gatesworn comes out and we're doing whatever's left in the store. It could be different, who knows? But I'll, of course, have that draft up for you when that comes out. You can expect, I suppose, 4 of these Chaos drafts a year. We do them, as I said, every FNM the night before pre-release because, of course, people are pretty tired of the current set. Let me tell you, we were all very tired of Magic Origins. I don't need to rehash that old argument. You guys all know about my feelings on that. But that's going to wrap it up for this Wacky Wednesday Chaos Draft recap. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is the first one that I've shown you guys, the second one that I've actually done. Definitely let me know if you like seeing this, if you like the idea of Chaos Draft. I'll certainly be doing one, as I said, I draft them the night before pre-release. They'll take a couple of weeks to go up when I have time because, of course, pre-release is a busy time for me. But let me know if you like the videos in the comments below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at The Mana Leak. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. And you can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/TheManaLeak. You've already found me here on YouTube. You've got the comment section down below. Make use of that. Like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all next time.